Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding it down. We holding it down when the baseline hit. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding it down.
Tell me who control the night. Y'all ain't running nothing, just talking too loud. First one step wrong, get pushed through the crowd. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding it down.
This is an open discussion, yeah, about the state of the world and the role of artificial intelligence, in the sense that where is this world headed? Where do we see this world in, like, by 2030? Is this world even going to be the same? Stay tuned, yeah, let me get ready.
Lights go dark when the crowd start chanting. No south rhythm got the room enchanted. Chain swing low when the tempo slow. 808 thunder makes the subwoofer blow. Everybody watch when the crew roll through, cause the underground kings in the building too. Talk all day but the action weak. When the beat drop heavy they don't wanna speak. Memphis style bounce with the haunted groove. Every bar hit hard when the drums all move. Y'all ain't running nothing, just talking too loud. First one step wrong, get pushed through the crowd. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding it down. When the bass line hit, make the whole room bounce. Y'all ain't running nothing, keep running that mouth. First one, cross the line, get thrown right out. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding the crown. When the beat drop low, make the whole flow pound. Smoke in the air with the neon glow. Bell tone nigga when the hi-hats roll. Slow dark bounce with a sinister tone. Got the whole dance flow locked in the zone. DJ scratch while the crowd yell loud. Every hook got the whole club proud. Old school chant from the back to the front. When the drums start slamming, everybody jump. Night get wild when the rhythm attack. Baseline wave make the walls crack. Every verse like a storm in the mix. Underground kings with the Memphis tricks. Y'all ain't running nothing, just talking too loud. First one step wrong, get pushed through the crowd. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding it down. When the baseline hit, make the whole.
Guys, you see, like last time how we did that live and we was critiquing, what was his name? Sean Clayton, and we were speaking about ontology and all of that stuff. I want to do the same thing. There's two guys that worked with AI companies. Like, there's one guy, he worked with Facebook, TikTok, Google, YouTube, Elon Musk, and now he's spitting out what this whole AI thing's about, where it's going. You understand? He left them jobs, got out of that sector, that industry, and now he's out here spilling the beans of what you should expect to happen into 2030. We're going to listen to him. He's only about a 25-minute long video. And then there's another guy from the OpenAI thing who's doing the same thing. And that's just two. Since last night, I've seen about 7 people that are coming out. I'm talking about ex-industry people who used to work in those fields, now coming out and speaking out against what the whole psyop is with this thing. I need you guys to hold the screen down till your inbox comes up. Share this live with all the people in the inbox, or at least 5 to 10 people in your inbox. If you don't have no TikTok coins to say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, hitting the orange heart me there with the number 44, that's how you say assalamu alaikum or shalom lakum or shem hotep lakum, whichever way you want to greet, you understand? You hit that heart me. It costs 1 TikTok coin. If you don't have no TikTok coins in your kitty, you can help me by hitting the screen. If you hit the screen now, it puts us up in the ratings. It puts us in the FYP. I don't want you to do this for me to go viral or nothing. But there's people that need to hear what we relay on our lives. And the only way we can get this message around to the right people who it's going to benefit them is if you guys are doing your part from that side. Right, I'm going to play this guy and we're going to listen to him. It might look a bit boring. You should have a pen and a paper. You can still say it's like breakfast hours, innit? So get yourself a cup of coffee, a slice of toast, whatever, but have a pen and paper at the side where you can take down some of the stuff what these guys are going to share with you. Do you understand? And then we'll discuss it as before, as I normally do. If there's anything I think, okay, let me pause it and elaborate on what he's saying there, yeah? Rather than my MacBook down here, I'm playing it from my phone, but I got a speaker here, so you guys should be able to hear the thing properly, yeah? Let me know in the comments if... What? I didn't even know those people in the park. if for whatever reason you can't hear it,
The
yeah?
fridge door was open. Did you do that?
You open the text dot, it's all random.
Right, sorry, I'm on.
Break the floor tonight.
Sorry, hold on. History, where are we at? Right, yeah, here we go. Shall I start with him? Now I'm starting with the man who worked for Zuckerberg. This is the man who worked for Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We're starting with him first, yeah? I'm going to pull it back, hold on.
In Kent who weren't white. We need a completely different, much more radical agenda as societies for how we want to manage the technology
Thanks for that,
we're all
Lisa.
racing to build now. The tech on its own is not going to save us.
Chaz.
Are you
No,
saying
CK, thanks.
that's okay, we just need to build some policies and regulation around it? Or are you saying if we're not careful, we're going to be sort of over the cliff before we know it?
I think we're heading over the cliff right now. You could not have picked a worse time for the arrival of the most powerful technology in history, and I am well aware of the dysfunctional elite dynamics that are partly responsible for why we are in the mess we're in today.
Hello and welcome to Ways to Change the World. I'm Krishnan Giri Murthy, and this is the podcast where we talk to extraordinary people about the big ideas in their lives and the events that have helped shape them. We're often told that technology will solve our biggest problems, that more data, more innovation and smarter machines will create a better future for us all.
Shout
But
out
the
to
alarm
everyone in
bells
the-
are
in the-
ringing
in the
too.
arena.
My guest today is Dex Hunter-Torek, a former advisor to some of the most powerful figures in Silicon Valley. He's worked at Google, Facebook, SpaceX, and others, helping shape the messages of tech leaders as they've promised to transform our lives. Then he quit. And now through his think tank, the Center for Tomorrow, he's questioning the tech revolution and warning the systems we're building may be taking us down very dangerous
We've been
roads.
saying the same
Dex,
thing,
welcome.
right? Listen.
Great to be here.
If you could change the world and save us, what would you do?
I would say we need a completely different, much more radical agenda as societies for how we want to manage the technology that we are all racing to build now. The tech on its own is not going to save us. We need to fundamentally transform our economies, our societies, our institutions if we truly want to get to a good future. That is not the path we're on.
What do you mean by an agenda? I mean, do you mean government plans or?
It's something that you both need governments and industries and communities to have a vision of what kind of people and world do we actually want to be as we see the arrival of the most powerful technology in history. Right now, we have a tremendous amount of detail and a huge amount of investment in simply building the technology.
How many of you are still on the fence when it comes to AI? Do you think it's evil? Do you think it's good? Or do you think it depends on the user? Like, where are you with AI? Because we're about to walk you through, yeah, what this thing exactly is and where it's going.
Infrastructure, the hundreds of billions being spent every year now by big tech on data centers and so on. There's very little understanding of what is actually going to happen to our societies. And when I say agenda, I mean literally it's got to start with a conversation about what are the choices in front of us, how are we actually planning to deploy that technology to dislodge many of the rising social, economic, political crises that are already here. And I think, in a way, that is very much the focus of everything I'm doing now. It is questioning what is the plan and the wrapper around all of that technology which is coming our way. There's very little I think you can do to actually stop that huge wave of technology, but actually there is a tremendous amount we can do to actually begin transforming our institutions, our thinking, our strategies, which we're going to need for every part of our society, every industry, every organization. Very little effort's been made to actually do those things.
So at the moment, pretty much every organization is saying, well, we ought to start using AI and working out how we can use it. And let's just get our people using it and see what they can do with it. And then they're discovering what they can do with it, and they're discovering the savings they can make and how easy certain things are and how difficult other things are. And this is evolving very, very quickly. Are you saying...
You know what's interesting in all, before I let it continue? You would think that all this technology and AI and stuff will make the production of stuff cheaper, but the cost of living is like times 3, times 4 than what it was. So how come this AI isn't actually helping with the cost of living? Like in terms of production, making stuff, if you're using AI, then it should be cheaper. You don't have to pay all these labor. Let's take cars, for example. All them men, the workforce, now you can cut that in less than half and use robots. So why is that not reflected in the price of stuff? Why is the price of stuff not going down, but it's going the other way? Don't you think that's strange? And that shows you that, well, what is this AI really for? Because technology, ultimately, it should make our life more easier without bringing more problems or causing damage to the earth or the environment or whatever, right?
That's okay, we just need to build some policies and regulation around it? Or are you saying if we're not careful, we're going to be sort of over the cliff before we know it?
I think we're heading over the cliff right now. And in a way, like the perfect example of how this is going wrong right now, Meta is one of the biggest AI labs in the world. They're spending tens of billions on their AI plans every year now. You've got all...
Now that, yeah, meta means beyond, above and beyond, yeah. So this metaverse, that they're selling it to you like it's just the latest iOS upgrade, or it's just the latest Facebook, Instagram type of upgrade. It's really with Facebook, right? But it's way more than that. This metaverse is what we were speaking about, what Sean Clayton was speaking about the 369, and how the wall of 12 in these vibrations is what traps carbon in this physical world. And us as carbon beings, that's why we're contained inside of this field, this known, the world that we tangibly live in. You understand? So he's saying that the technology is being used against you, against us. It's not being used to benefit us. It's being used against us because where they want to get, meaning inside of you, to control the mechanizations of the human being, they can't get inside of us. So they have to make this external technology, which is kind of like a portal into all of us. Because remember, all of us are like this. Your full attention is you're giving to these MacBooks and these smartphones and whatever else, yeah? So they're engaging you on a molecular level. They are getting inside of you, which is the hardware, to manipulate your software, right?
All of our future's on the line, and you think, wow, I've built this amazing multi-billion-dollar technology. I've got the engine of a Ferrari, but I've done very little to actually, prepare the chassis. We're jamming into a 1980s, Skoda, and hoping that that's somehow going to become a supercar. And when it's extended to, economies, societies, our jobs, these are, choices we're making now in how we deploy tech that will have devastating impacts on people's lives and on communities. Companies like Meta are at the forefront of the tech, and they're just winging it. And that is exactly the same level of dysfunction we're going to see across lots of other companies, lots of other...
Right, so you hear what he said about Meta is winging it. Do you know what he's implying by that? They don't actually know what they're doing. They don't care about the repercussions that come. In essence, they're experimenting with this AI technology. So they're gassing people up, telling you it's going to do this, this, and this, where really they're hiding the real motives of what this technology is for. And they're marking it to you, to us, as if it's harmless. Do you understand? But Meta is at the forefront. You go on Facebook, they ask you if you want one of their Meta stickers and stuff, you want to join their Meta universe. In essence, they're going to make an artificial version of this wall of 12, this vibration of 12. And when they make this metaverse, they can transport your consciousness into that metaverse, give you a form of immortality, which is digital immortality, called amortality, right? Where they can upload your consciousness digitally to internet and whatever else. You see, like in some of these films in Hollywood, where someone passed on, but their consciousness is retained and it's just in a TV or it's in a computer. The computer's raw speaking to you as the person, hi, wagwan, rare. But now their consciousness is contained in this TV or in this MacBook or in this computer. Do you understand? That this digital upload, just like you take your memory stick and plug it into your MacBook or your phone and download stuff from and onto your phone, is the same thing that's going to go on with human consciousness. This is called consciousness transfer. We have been speaking about this for the last 10 years and people are looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm telling them this is grey, alien grey technology. That in order for them to be able to abduct certain humans and mess around with the cattle and stuff, our government say, hey man, we want some of that nice technology that you got there. Hey, how about some? You understand? And one of these technologies was what's called consciousness transfer. So when we're speaking about human cloning, another thing that I got loads of stick for, it's not just aliens, yeah? Human cloning, people like this guy's crazy, yeah? Now you can see it. Now you should be able to see it more. When you look at these Hollywood stars, it's not even the same person. You understand what I'm saying? Let me go on, yeah, because I'll just keep
communities.
Now, you've worked for some of these big tech giants. You've worked for Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg at Meta. I mean, it is tempting to start seeing these guys as Bond villains. How awful are they? Someone who's worked alongside them.
I think Elon was tweeting that he wants to get a volcano lair. So, I mean, literally, it is easy to think of them as Bond villains. Some of them seem to enjoy reveling in, this sort of image that they've become untouchable politically, that they have this enormous influence over our lives. These are leaders who I think are deeply problematic. They have evolved over the last decade from being characters who at one point in time were genuinely hopeful. You can dismiss anyone who thought that, including myself, as just utterly foolish now. But at one point, there was a moment of excitement about what these technologies, the things that people were building, could truly do for humanity. And these were leaders who actually used.
And also bear in mind, yeah, that YT people are a very naive race. They've not been on the around long enough to know about the repercussions of certain things, and they don't have the same responsibility we do as to care for the planet. Like to say, if I make this airplane, how's that going to affect the planet? You know what? It's going to pollute the planet. Okay, we're not making the airplane. That's how we was, because we are the guardians or the custodians of this Mother Gaia. So we wasn't really trying to put convenience over the welfare of the planet or the welfare of the environment. Whereas the Muzungu, they put technology and their position over the welfare of the planet. Go back to was it George Bush, where they asked him to choose between economy and environment, and America chose economy. Or was it Trump? It might have been Trump. They asked him, yo, you're gonna have to choose one or the other, economy or environment. These Muzungu people will choose environment easily, without no remorse or they don't really care about what's gonna happen in the planet. They'll deal with that after. You understand? This is how they function. They don't function like us, like our ancestors would care for the planet and the animals in the planet and all of the living beings in the planet as an extension of themselves. The Muzungu don't have that. In the world today, let me just speak for England. In England, everything is an exchange. There's no favors done in society for you. Yeah? Government ain't doing no favors for no one. Everything is our money. It's just about profit. And remember that profit, we're not speaking biblical profits, because the Muzungu have none. Don't let them fool you. There's no prophet in the Bible that came and he was like them, man. Yeah? All the prophets is us. So their prophets, they change the E to an I. Their profits come from money. Yeah? They put on the money, G-O-D, in God we trust, gold, oil and diamonds. And our profits are coming from the gold, oil and diamonds that we taking out of your country. That's their profits. They don't have biblical or Quranic or scriptural profits. All of these prophets that you see with this skin, you understand? Go and read Isaiah 29:22, because we're in that time now where we ain't going to be paled out no more.
Words like humanity. I started my career at the UN. I went to work in Silicon Valley, at the start of, one tech boom, because, of course, technology became very clearly apparent as a central motor of progress in our societies. But these are all. I
think what he's talking about there, when social media first started, like Facebook first started getting going, Instagram first started getting going, there's an excitement around the whole thing, around the whole social media age, BlackBerry, smartphone, iPhone. So you see, initially there is an excitement. Oh, what can this do? Oh, yo, there's an excitement with it. And then after the novelty comes off, you start to say, hold on, this thing's for something else. There's something else there's another objective for these technologies. It's not just for our entertainment. You really think these big tech companies they so much want to entertain you. They put in billions of their dollars making these devices and stuff just because they want to entertain you. If that's what you think, you're very naive.
Leaders now who over the last decade have taken on really problematic value sets, views of the world, ways of intertwining themselves with the...
Because look at social media. At first, you could post what you want, say what you want, and then after a while, it's like, okay, you can't say this, yeah? This is fact checkers have deemed this false. This is against community guidelines. You are going in Facebook jail. This stuff is restricted. We don't even know who these fact checkers are. Do you understand what I'm saying? But now it's become a kind of like dystopian social media where you really have to tread carefully. You can't say certain things. You can't post certain things. I experience this every day. Like my different apps are for different things. Like what I can post on TikTok is different than what I can post on Instagram. Is different than what I can post on Facebook. Instagram is my page where I could, if it's controversial, I'll probably dash it on Instagram or Facebook. I can't dash that on TikTok. TikTok's guideline policies are very harsh compared to the other two. You know, stuff like that. It's crazy. Anyway, let's dance.
Interests of the US political administration. And I think these are people who simply don't represent.
England is locking up more people than anybody else for stuff said on the internet. We have become this internet dystopia now. UK, not USA. Elon Musk and them are calling it out, saying, yo, what about freedom of speech in UK? This Keir Starmer who just passed, before now we got this Andy Burnham geezer. This Keir Starmer, he locked up more people for stuff that they said on the internet than any other leader in the world. Just think about that. This is supposed to be Britain, a democracy with free speech and you know what I'm saying, yeah? And this Keir Starmer has locked up more people during his term. His term was short as well, yeah? Contrasted against other people. His term was short, like if you contrast it against Boris Johnson and whoever else, yeah? He wasn't in there long, but he locked up more people for stuff that they posted online than any other leader in the world. Now, they telling us Russia is communist. Russia's supposed to have that title, or Kim Jong in North Korea, or Jinping in China. You expect, okay, these guys are totalitarian, they're communist and socialist, they're going to clamp down on what people are saying. But they ain't got nothing on Keir Starmer. Do you know what that means? And that's shocking. That's made, so people in America are shocked. I'm talking about YT people, because they look at Britain as a bastion of democracy, of that's their source where America come out of. Do you understand? USA, America come out of England, right? So they look back at England like the bastion of truth, the bastion of the champion of democracy and freedom of speech and all of that type of shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? And now look at the state of the UK. We're number one when it comes to locking up people for things that are being said online. Even me, I say to myself, I'm glad I'm not one of them massive platforms, because they'd already came for me. And that's why I tell people, sometimes when you're not as popular as you think, like people tell me all the time, oh, how come your page ain't more popular? They think I should have like 20,000 followers, 50,000 followers. And it's true, based on what I'm sharing with my audience. But what I try to tell them, it's a protection. The Most High don't want me on the front line right now. You're on the front line right now. They coming for you. Just like they came for young Pharaoh and all these other people. Yeah? And I'm not, and whether they're good or bad, right or wrong, if they're having any type of positive effect on the masses, and not just black people, I'm talking about the masses, they're more scared when the black influence comes outside of the black community, and now we start influencing Asian folk and YT folk. That's when they get like, yo, this is they don't care if it's just us popping each other off in the hood, or you get me. They don't care about none of that. You can say that on record, yo, I'ma whack this NIGG, I'ma kill this, but you can't say that about YTs. If somebody made up a rap now about he's going around whacking YT people, yo, he's done, he's cancelled out here. But nobody's going to cancel you for saying you went down the road and whacked two of your brothers from the different clique around. You understand what I'm saying, right?
The values that matter to most people in the world and to our country and many other countries around the world.
And do you think they have changed? I mean, it was tempting to think 10 years ago or more that Silicon Valley was full of sort of liberal, sort of slightly lefty American idealists who wanted to make the world a better place. Was that ever true? Or were they always what they really are and are revealing themselves to be now?
This is a question I ask myself all the time. I know many of these folks deeply. I've worked with them for years. Were they lying to me then about the things they cared about? Or are they lying now, masquerading as something else? I don't know. In a lot of ways, I don't have time for the psychodrama. Either way, these are folks who have chosen at the zenith of their power now with, essentially unlimited money, tremendous influence, companies that connect billions of people. they have chosen to no longer stand up for the values and things they were talking about 10 years ago, which were all about humanity, solving our social and economic challenges, using technology in ways that serve the entire world. And so,
But you see, we know, yeah, that okay, if you got a Bible close by, turn to John 8:44. I need to have someone on here just sitting here, and they got a Bible in front of them. And every time I mention the Bible, I tell the person in the box, yo, read to the audience what the Bible, what that page says. If anybody wants to become that in these lives, get at me in the DM. I need somebody who will sit down with a Bible, and I'll bring you into the live. And you just sit there quiet, just listening like everyone else. And then when I give you a Bible quote now, I'll pass it to you. Yo, read this Bible quote to the audience so they can understand what I'm saying. Because a lot of people, I know they're lazy. They won't go and look at these references I'm giving them, whether it's from Bible or Torah or Quran or whatever. Do you understand? So I need somebody to come on the lives, and they will read these. When I give certain references, I can refer to them and they just read it to the audience. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hold on.
I think it's very, very hard to discern what is authentic anymore from these folks, which is part of the reason I think these companies have become so widely
That's what
disliked.
I wanted to say.
They have technology that...
Yeah, so like I said, in John 8:44, it says, there is no truth in these people. Their father was a liar, and they're liars. He's talking about these colonizers, Mzungu, yeah? They're all liars. So if you check Donald Trump, he says, yo, no more wars, America first, rare. Why? Because that's the hook. There has to be a hook and a catch, right? That's the hook. Everybody's going to jump on this. Yeah, we're fed up of war, rare, and now everybody's going to vote for Trump, right? And then soon as he comes in now, he's catched everyone, yeah? He hooked everyone on the hook. So now he can reveal his true self. Say, you know what, we're going to Iran, we're going to wipe out the whole nation if they don't do blah, 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 and blah. And now you got all this war going on all over the place, right? So it's the same with big tech. They're going to come in, yo, we're enthusiastic about making the world a better place and rare. And they're giving you all this gas, yeah? John has told you what the thing is, yeah? In John 8, verse 44, he said, these people are liars. Stop trusting them. Stop trusting these politicians. And also, the politicians ain't the main people in charge no more. When we go back, like, let's say we go back into the 90s, politicians are, on the surface anyway, they're the geezers with all the last say and the power and shit. We didn't have all these big tech companies and all this big pharma involvement in politics, yeah? And all these technocrats in Silicon Valley and stuff. Because now, each one of them that I've just called, big pharma, yeah, big tech, the technocrats, the lobby groups, yeah, have more power than the government. All the money is coming from them. The government is working for these corporations. The corporations are paying them money, more than your taxpayers' money. So they are pushing the policies of these big farmers or these big tech, the Silicon Valley and stuff. They're not pushing what you want. They don't care about what you want. They're saying 2/3 of the American people are against this war. The Senate still said, yo, we're not stopping the war. They don't care about the people. That time passed a long time ago. A lot of you still think we're in that time where your vote matters and whatever you say, the politician. No, that's done. Their money don't come from you no more. That's chicken feed money that you're giving them in the taxpayers' money. Their money comes from these big tech corporations that are giving them a 500 billion to fund their campaign, yeah? Or big pharma. That's what's going on here. These politicians are not working for us, and they're not in the control seat no more. Organizations, NGOs, which means non-governmental organizations, which means you or me, we didn't vote for them. Nobody voted for them, yeah? But they got more power than your governments. They are controlling your governments. They are the eternal government. When Keir Starmer goes, they're still there. When Andy Burnham goes, they'll still be there. When Donald Trump goes, they will still be there. Just like after Joe Biden went, they are still here. Do you understand that? So we need to get away from this politics thing and the hold that politics has on us and start calling it out, right?
Is ubiquitous but unloved. And that is a very dangerous strategic position for them to be in as well. I think their actual political and reputational strategies are absolutely bonkers. And this is not 4D
Guys,
chess they're playing. They are
yeah?
laying the foundations for a massive
Let's
backlash
get these
against what they're
ratings up
building.
so we can do more
I mean,
lives.
did you feel
if you want more
personally,
lives, hit the screen, share the live.
let down? Did you have a sort of a moment of awakening? I mean, you're not an engineer, are you? You're sort of a messaging, policy, comms person. Did you feel you went and you had sort of an awakening moment where you thought, this is not what I thought?
Absolutely. And, Silicon Valley has for many years, for generations, it has pulled in many different workers from lots of different backgrounds, lots of communities all over the world who are drawn to a vision of advancing humanity by building different things. And
Right, now that's a lie, yeah? Because when you go to Dr. York's teachings, he tells you about Silicon Valley and how it's underneath, I'm sure it's Mount Shasta in America, in Arizona. There's a mountain called Mount Shasta. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's any Americans in here, but I think it's Mount Shasta and it's in Arizona. And underneath that mountain, that's where the real Silicon Valley is. It's a subterranean thing. And also, it's got non-human entities working there, right? So I told people in my 8th book, War in the Skies, Blood Feud of the Gods, I was telling people in there that you have a group of inner terrestrials that are called Telologians. The inner terrestrial Telologians, they look just like any Muzungu on the surface. They just look a bit weird in the face. Elon Musk is one, by the way. Yeah, Bill Gates is another one, by the way. Mark Zuckerberg is another one, by the way. And these Telologians are kind of like androids. They're not fully human. They're androids and they work with machines. All of them are good with computers and machines because in the hollow earth where they live in one of the caverns, they operate one of them old machines that the Anunnakis left back. So they, whatever they do, modify it or whatever, and they still use it and they train themselves to be tech savvy. So all of your big tech, the ones at the top, like your Musk and your Zuckerberg and your Bezos, and just look at their face. And more time you'll see they don't carry no facial hair. They don't really have no beards. They don't really have no sideburns or nothing. They just like, like that mannequin look. And you'll hear Zuckerberg and them say, well, I used to be human, but I still am human. And you'll see Musk and them start like a robot malfunctioning and that. These are Telologians. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right?
We were all drawn, to this place because there's lots of, communities
Mount
all
Shasta,
over the world
Google
who are drawn
it,
to a vision of advancing humanity by building different things. And we were all drawn, to this place.
Their whole thing, these Telologians, right? They're working with the reptilians and the Nordics. Now, understand this. Polluting this planet is something deliberate. It's part of the terraforming. What do I mean by that? Right? Terraforming is changing the atmosphere of a planet to be conducive to you, to suit you. So if we go to like Mars and we terraform Mars, that means we're going to make Mars like here. We need oxygen, we need water. So we're going to have to influence a change in Mars and start changing shit. We might have to take some trees from Earth and plant them in Mars so they can start letting off oxygen and carbon. Do you understand? It's called terraforming. So we've been going through a process of terraforming without the general public even really knowing what's going on. With like the cloud seeding. I remember I was speaking about this years ago also, the cloud seeding, how they microwave the sky and can make rain just come right here. And so they can turn a Sahara desert into a green oasis, right? But that has repercussions because that's not sanctioned by Mother Nature. So remember in Dubai, when what was them floods came, it started raining and just wash out Dubai. Was it 1 or 2 years ago? Because in Dubai, they were using this cloud seeding. Let's see if we can, because remember in the Middle East, they don't really have a lot of agriculture and stuff. They are in a desert. Do you understand? So if they can change their desert back into a green thing, they're going to try it, whether it's in a good way or a bad way, right? So they've been frying out the sky and stuff all over this joint. Now look at the weather now. Look at England. Right? Look at England now. We're not supposed to have this type of hot sun now, right? But at the end of June, that's basically it. Then it turns back to this cold stuff. But for the last, let's say, 8-9 years, I haven't even seen the English weather. England's been like here. It's like I brought Antigua back with me coming to England. You understand what I'm saying? It's crazy. All of the weather is changed because of what they've been doing, because of all of these violations they've been doing to Mother Earth. Now the weather's out of whack. Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's because we believed in a mission, at different companies, in different technologies, that could truly be something inclusive for the world. And we've now ended up in something which is deeply nationalist, ultra short-sighted, appears to be mainly driven by just juicing.
So even things like the atomic bomb, the hydrogen bombs that they dropped and stuff, all of these experiments and stuff like the Philadelphia experiment, Operation Fishbowl and bombing up, letting off a nuke on the dome, all of this has repercussions. Like even in World War II, when they dropped that bomb on August the 6th, 1945, they dropped the bomb on not only Hiroshima, but also Nagasaki, and also in parts of Cambodia. Do you understand what I'm saying? When they did that, they nearly cracked the surface of the earth, you know. You know the mantle? They nearly cracked the surface of the earth. It would have been game over for every one of us here now. So since that happened in 1945 is when most of this UFO activity started going peak. Like it's increased now. Do you know why? Because now the Galactic Council have to come to Earth and has to speak to Earth's leaders. Because you're not only jeopardizing Earth, you're jeopardizing this whole quadrant. If Earth goes, then the next world goes, and then it's like a chain reaction. Do you understand? So now, anytime man threatens his own existence, right, and also threatens the existence of other beings, that's when the gods can step in. Because other than that, they can't intervene. You're on yourself. You have to be responsible for your own growth and your own trajectory. If you're going to be extinct, then you're extinct. You understand? But when it comes to the point where a certain group of man, Muzungu and them, with all their nuclear technology and stuff, they're now jeopardizing every other species on this planet, inside of this planet, in the waters, in the skies, and ultimately this solar system. This solar system of 10 planets or whatever, they're jeopardizing everything in this region. So now the Galactic Council, it's their responsibility to come down here and address what's going on. They ain't coming to you. You, the black people, black man or woman, what are you running? None of them African leaders has no power to influence no change, save Ibrahim Traore with what he's doing. But if you look at the crop of African leaders, why would any alien come to them to speak about what? They don't have no pull in the earth. They don't have no influence on where this world is going to go. They have to go to the Trumps and to the Putins and to the Xi Jinping because they're in the positions of power. They're in the positions that can make shit happen in the earth. You can't. So if you ask yourself, how come black people never get abducted? How come these Anunnakis don't come to you? Because you ain't in position, nigga. You want to be a Christian. You want to be a Muslim. You want to be a Jew. You're not in no position of power. You don't have no military. You don't even have no brotherhood. Yeah? The bond between brothers is the sword that defends the nation. So since black people ain't got no bonds between the men, because black men don't love each other, then we don't have a nation. That's why you're scattered all over the place in other people's shit. Because you don't have nothing for yourself. Because you don't even have unity. You don't even love or like each other.
Market valuations of a tiny sliver of companies, and I feel personally betrayed by that. I had certainly no interest in going to work for companies that are purely interested in enriching themselves at the expense of the entire world and completely giving up on their responsibilities towards society. And for me, Zuckerberg is actually, I think, the biggest betrayal because there's somebody who literally talked about the value of connecting the world, and he chose to reinvent himself as a person who literally just does cage fights and
So he didn't reinvent nothing. Like I told you, Isaiah 29:22, yeah? And also, John 8:44, they're liars. They have no problem smiling, shaking your hand, yeah? And then wiping you out, taking your whole land, women, children, gold, diamonds, everything. And after that, say amen. God did it. Their God, yeah? And you want to worship their God. You want to have the same God as your oppressors. You got to be delusional.
Wears a bunch of gold chains and decides that he wants to be positioned as, somebody who, is into MMA. He's a bro. And after sitting atop a set of social networks that connect billions of people that have clearly become deeply problematic in our societies, have huge, unintended consequences on young people and our mental health and so on.
Elon Musk or Zuckerberg, put in the comments who you think's worse. All three of them, yeah? Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, or Jeff Bezos. Like, put it in order. Which one is worse, yeah? Who's the number one, who's second place, or who's third place? Because all three of them are insufferable, right? But which one's worse? Put it in the comments.
That's the biggest responsibility he thought that he could take on as the leader of that company. I mean, it's absolutely wild.
So when Meta say we acknowledge our mistakes and we're going to change the way we behave, which is what they say, how should we read that?
Show me the proof. All these companies came up with a very clever messaging angle. I know, because I was part of it.
You were doing it.
Yeah. And they say, we'd love regulation. And sure, that is what you should say. And the companies know that regulation is unavoidable. So, of course, they say that. It's a sort of meaningless promise. unless
see
you
what I
can
mean?
turn it into something truly real. And what exactly are Meta or any of these big tech companies actually promising to do differently? What have they actually transformed, which is going to have a real impact on the tidal wave of problems that we're facing now? I mean, when it comes to online safety in the UK, right, we've had so many disasters.
This is Jacob Akachuki, Bill Gates, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. There's a few. There's even more than that. But yeah, thanks for mentioning that Peter Thiel guy. I left him out. All of them, yeah, are agents of Satan. Yeah, remember what we said Satan is ultimately 6 Eva, consciousness, which is what's being called the algorithm. That AI shit is Satan. That's how he communicates in this world. Now we reach this stage of progression, right? And that's the ghost in the machine, or the ghost in that Alexa, in that Siri. You can have a conversation with Siri or Alexa about it. Say, yo, Siri, is there demons trying to hold you back? That Siri will say something like, I can't really answer that question, you know? So you're going to have to say something like, if the answer is yes, make this sound, and Siri will make that sound. Oh, is the devil trying to stop you from telling me the truth about black people now? It will make that sound. Try it. This is real shit. There's a ghost in the machine. They even give you the movie Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson, right?
So many tragedies that have unfolded, and there's very little evidence now that the company's actually done anything to really change the way it operates. Actually, they've simply decimated their content moderation infrastructure. They've chosen to do less, management of these issues. They've done all sorts of things to try and stoke, more divisive voices on these platforms. I don't believe it.
There, what you just said there, yeah. Mega Maestro, they own all the search engines. That part, right? You see, the servers. It's not even the search engines, it's the servers. So let's say you start up an app. You don't have your own server. You have to run your app, you see how they stopped Telegram now? They've dashed Telegram out of the App Store. Just all of a sudden, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Telegram now, you can't download it no more. Why? Because it's independent. We can all have discussions like this away from the government and stuff. Yo, we got to shut that shit down. They've shut it down now. That's on borrowed time. You know it's going to fade out now, right? Yeah? But hold on, what was I saying?
Right, so
moderation infrastructure. They've chosen to do less, management of these issues. They've done all sorts of things to try and stoke, more divisive voices on these platforms. I don't believe it.
Right, so you mentioned the changes in this country. I mean, in the last week, the government has announced, taking kids off social media, and the tech companies all say, well, we'll do whatever you want.
So imagine if you take kids off social media, yeah, because this is like a double blade thing. Yes, social media is harmful for children when you just let them have free access. When you as a parent don't monitor the type of stuff that they're watching and stuff, right? Because that's ultimately the parent's job. That's not no job of no government, right? You're a weak parent if you relying on the government to parent your children. You're supposed to be parenting your children. Do you understand what I'm saying? And ultimately, if you use social media in the right way, you can direct your children to watch stuff that is beneficial for them, that they ain't gonna get from terrestrial TV or from the authorities or whatever. So from the moment, even though it sounds brilliant, like, oh, we're protecting children, so we're gonna take them off social media. What that really is this. The government will be the only people that's telling the children what that 1 and 1 is 2, and this is left and this is right. You can't do it no more. They don't want children exposed to me talking like this. They don't want children learning this, right? So they don't care about no protection of no children. If they did, they would have took all type of different measures yonks ago to stop all these PDF stuff and whatever's going on, right? But they don't care about none of that. Most of them are in that club. They sitting on that Frankenstein file. Most of their names are in it. That's why it's not come out yet. Do you understand? So what this means is that, because look, like that sister was saying in her little video, they took away the jacks, yeah, and then charges to download music. They take away like the VHS tapes and then charges to stream. They take away the hard drives and the memory and the memory cards, and then they charge us for Google Cloud storage and shit. It's a psyop. It's a setup, and I don't think we're in a position to stop it. It's gonna have to play out. We're gonna go through this mad period where a lot of people ain't gonna make it out to the other side, and it is what it is. We're not gonna wake up tomorrow and we're just gonna stop the government. That's not what's written. What's written is in Revelation. We are playing out the timeline now. I keep saying this to people. It has to play out. It wasn't written just to be written. And I'm not talking about the mistranslated version from the Greek that many of you are familiar with. Many of you, I'd say most of you, have never read the book of Revelation because you've never read a translation that comes straight from the Paleo Hebrew. Your Bible in your house is 9 out of 10 of you are going to have something that comes from Greek or Latin that's got nothing to do with the word of God. It's a mistranslation. It's a diversion. So yeah, you'll have truths in there, but it's more like half truths and whole lies. So where you're supposed to be going down here, it's kind of diverted you, and now you're going down here. So you might get certain things, but you're not really getting the fullness of this thing, right? Because it's not the thing that came from God. It's the thing that came from Rome. They took the thing from God and changed it into something else and put it out from Rome and called it the Bible. Most of you are reading that Roman Bible. You ain't never read the word of God. Yeah? And that's a fact, right? And this
Again,
is not a
you're
diss.
part
I'm
of-
just saying it is what it is.
You were part of
right?
how they would respond to these things publicly. What's really going on? You know, when they say, yes, we'll work within any regulatory framework, we're very happy with regulation. What are they really thinking?
I think they're realizing they can make that open-ended promise, which they've been making for years, but you're dealing with a context in which you have a very weak government, which is going through political turmoil. You're dealing with nations that are at the mercy of a US administration that has become intertwined with the interests of Silicon Valley and will go to bat for the interests of Silicon Valley. We've got an online safety bill. It took years to pass it. It established a whole content moderation infrastructure.
See, they have an online safety bill that took years to establish it. This is what he's talking about.
Why is it that we have the scale of problems that we're facing? Because in fact, the system is not really being enforced. Because in fact, the US administration essentially threatened
Guys, let's get
massive
the lights up
reprisals
in this
on
video
the
since
UK and other
142 of
nations
you
who
are
would
sat
actually
here
try
watching
to
and
moderate
and
the
benefiting from
voices,
this.
the
Let's get
platforms
this
that
shit up, man.
Washington cares
Otherwise, it's
about.
not worth
And so
it, innit?
we're at the subject of a whole geopolitical agenda coming from Washington. If you're a tech company, all you've got to do is keep mouthing the same platitudes and know it is very unlikely that decision makers are truly going to summon the political will to actually transform this agenda and take on Washington.
How have they gone about persuading the...
Somebody here says, gratitude. Is it supposed to be gratitude? It says gratitude anyway. And he says, or she says, he or she says, I think it can be stopped, but somebody who is more powerful than them doesn't want to. I don't think it can be stopped. I do. I think we have we as human beings have the capacity to change the future. Like, it doesn't have to happen. But what I'm trying to say to you is where humanity is now, when I look around the world, this shit ain't going to stop. I don't think we're in no position to stop what's going on. We're too far gone. We're too convenient. We're too into this society. We're too ingrained in the matrix. And understand this also. The matrix isn't some make-believe shit that's built up around you. The matrix is built up inside of you. It's your beliefs, your unconfirmed religious bullshit beliefs. Yeah. It's your false histories. Yeah. It's the mental paradigms that have been put into you since nursery. And that control all of it. It's the subconscious that controls all of your conscious thoughts and movements. It's not some shit that's around it, some fucking giant net. It's inside of you, yeah? And you can't break people from it because the paradigms are so strong. It's like it's locked them. It's like trying to tell a Christian, yo, Jesus never really existed. Joshua HaMashiach existed. He existed from 7 AD to 127 AD. He was 120 years old when he ascended back to Yahuwah from the top of the Great Pyramid. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't tell that to a Christian because their matrix, their paradigms, Jesus is the light and the only way and blah, 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 died for the sins. Blah, blah, blah. They're just going to spook out on you. It's the same with the Muslim. If you try and tell him, yo, Anunnakis, yeah, Nechiru, he's going to say, Astaghfirullah Azim. Yeah, that means may Allah forgive you because they're seeing you as an idol worshipper or a polytheist. Yo, Astaghfirullah Azim. Yeah, what do you mean Astaghfirullah? This is the real, you can't tell them. To them, they're going to look at you like, yo, you heard Sanchez, he's talking about these jinns. They're going to call them jinns, demons. Every Anunnaki is a jinn. Because that matrix that they're in is so, yo. So that's what the matrix is. It's not some make-believe shit outside of you, yeah? Yes, it involves technology and stuff that reinforces what's inside of you. But ultimately, it's built inside of you. It's your mental paradigms. It's your belief systems. It's your upbringing that forms this matrix, this web that traps you in it, yeah? In this modern way of thinking. Not a lot of us escape from that.
Political establishment, that they are, well, first of all, they're not responsible for the content that is on. They're not like TV stations where we are responsible for what we broadcast. They are somehow not. And that they are in some way sort of too big to really change, to really regulate, that you can't change the algorithm. It's all.
Yeah, so you see Egyptian Empress, how you say, I know, I'm reading King James Bible and it's been altered. I'm not going to tell you to not read the Bible, yes, because you have to learn the lies in order to see the truth. People don't understand that the truth is so profound. First, you have to learn the lies. I mean, and when I say learn the lies, people think like just because they've heard a little piece of the Jesus story, they know the Jesus story. They don't. Like if I ask a person, okay, when was this Jesus born, according to them? They can't tell you. I say, okay, what year did Jesus pass, according to them, right? Or where was Jesus born, according to the Bible? Or where do I find this about Jesus in the Bible? They don't know nothing. Most people don't know nothing. They've convinced themselves that they know something, but they don't, yeah? That's why they're not out here doing classes, doing lives, or writing books or none of that. But they'll come up in the comments as if they're some type of expert. So I would say to you, Egyptian Empress, get other Bibles. Go and find the Geneva Bible if you can. You should be able to find it quite easy, yeah? The Geneva Bible. And then you'll see things that are taken out of the King James Bible. Like you see when we read Ephesians 6:12, which says, put on the full armor of God. And then 6:13 says, for we wrestle not against flesh, but against spiritual wickedness in high places, yeah? Right? And they've left out something. That's not the complete thing. It says spiritual wickedness in high places and spiritual wickedness of your world. The governors, politicians, they took that whole line out. And the spiritual wickedness of your world, the governors, they took that part out. Yeah? And they just leave it as, for we wrestle not against flesh, but we fight against spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's a very powerful verse in the Bible. Yeah? But when you realize, hold on, that's not even the whole thing. They've took pieces off that shit to hide what politics is doing in the world since the reset, Tartaria. Because that was before the King James Bible, the Geneva Bible. And then they moved that out the way. Yo, that's saying too much. Now let's reform. No, nigga, this is the King James Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Get also what's called the Keyword Study Bible. This is one of the best Bibles for your research. Why? Because it's got a Hebrew lexicon in the back of it. So you can look up, it's telling you what the word is translated from. It's a word for word translation. The Muslims haven't done this with the Quran, because if they do, we go and see through their whole shit. But anyway, yeah, they did it with the Bible. It's called the Keyword Study Bible. And if you've got any substance about you and your research, you will know that John said in the beginning was the word. So if you want to know the truth, not only do you have to learn the lies, you have to get away from English and you have to go back into your languages, meaning what language was this book revealed in when God revealed it? Because there's a reason he put it in this language. Yeah. And if the language is changed, you should ask yourself, who changed the language? When did God say or tell somebody, yo, you need to change my language from this Paleo Hebrew into this Greek or into this Latin? Because God never told nobody to do that. Right? But we don't really question it. We just read these Bibles and stuff as if it's from God. None of these books are from God. The Muslim Quran don't come from no Allah, the real one. Yeah? The Bible don't come from no God. God never sent down no book called the Bible. The Romans got all the books the Hebrews had, bashed them all together, kept the ones they wanted and dashed out the ones that said too much and called it the Bible. That's not God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go forward, yeah?
That's sort of true, or is it just a sort of a myth that they have managed to persuade politicians of, that politicians are basically powerless when it comes to the internet?
I can now.
Are you a man or a woman over 40 years old? You can receive an electric bike for your comfort and daily transport.
You see how you've said there, yeah? Hold on. This is Simon Lawrence says everybody needs to get to sovereignty level. Okay, so let me ask you now, how do you get to sovereignty level? Put it in the comments so the people that want to get to sovereignty level can start to go in that direction, because it's all good making these blanket statements, but that's not enough no more, right? Not everybody knows how to get back to their sovereign self, right? Common law, Black's Laws Dictionary, put some substance to what you're saying. Everybody's not on your level. They don't know what you're saying. They might hear what you're saying there, but they might not know how to get back to sovereignty. Do you understand what I'm saying? So maybe you need to go live and speak about how people get back to sovereignty. It can't just be me. Do you understand? That's why I made that video saying, yo, some of you need to go live. You need to come out of your that zone and start going live. I'm being real with you, yeah? And I'm not here to tell you stuff to flatter you. Everything I say is not going to sound good. Some shit might offend you. I don't really care. Do you understand? But you need to, you can make that into a lie. Yo, let's get back to sovereignty. Black's Law Dictionary speak about some of this shit, yeah? And give people yo, every one of us has a role to play, you know, right? So I'm not dissing what you're saying. You're totally correct. I know everybody needs to get back to sovereignty level, but please help the people. Show them how we get back to sovereignty. It's all good saying that, but some of us here, we don't know nothing about no Black Law Dictionary, you know, common law, or no Magna Carta, or getting back to our sovereign self and being sovereign beings and self-governance. Some of us don't know this. So it's all good putting that sentence there, but I need more from you who come to these lives. You got to think about the people that ain't on your level, that don't know what you know. That why do you think I do these lives like this? It's because, yo, I know everybody's not going to know what I know, and I got to share it with the people who are going to benefit from it. So I got to put it in a way where, yo, they can get with the thing. I can't just say, yo, religion is fake, and then don't give no context to why religion is. You understand? You gotta put some context with what you're saying out here, man. Yeah. Egyptian Empress, I've been doing that. Well, you lit. Also, if you can, guys, get an Apocrypha Bible, because it's got 6 extra books. I got one up here. So it's got like the books of the Maccabees and different shit in there. Do you understand? Nobody, everybody's not going to get on board. Simeon Lawrence says it needs everybody on board first, not me. Then it don't make no sense you saying what you said. And no, everybody's not going to be on board. That's a fantasy, right? We got to work with what we got, and we got to roll up our sleeves and work now. We can't be waiting for no perfect circumstances or no this illusion of unity, like the full unity of the menelated world. That's never going to happen. It never has happened. It never was in the beginning. You understand? Some of us are menelated devils, or you know what I'm saying? Like, not all of us are. It's not all good with all of us. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. So we need to start working now. It is never going to be a more perfect time than now. Let me play this one. I'm scrolling.
So I definitely don't believe politicians are powerless when it comes to the internet. I think politicians have made huge mistakes, of course. The online safety bill was deeply problematic in lots of ways. It thought about solving these problems purely or mainly in terms of what those platforms could do to tinker with their algorithmic machinery. There are things that the companies should be doing which they're not, clearly are failures of the companies. But if you truly want to turn off that tidal wave of disinformation, if you want to deal with the massive reservoir of hate that is bubbling up. I'm going to
switch to this other guy, yeah, because he says some serious shit, and I thought it was this guy who says it, but it's the other guy, where he literally says, we're going to end up creating a new species with this AI shit, and this new species is going to fuck up the planet and take over the world. Now, that doesn't sound so far-fetched to me. So let me put him on and contrast against what this other guy's saying, yeah? And this is an AI expert. His name is Tristan Harris, and he says they're building bunkers for a reason.
And
by
they simultaneously say everything, there's all these amazing things we're going to get.
So listen.
They sort of wash over with their hands, they kind of push away the idea that there's going to be all this disruption in the middle time. And they're kind of focused on the long term. Like, after we make it through this basic horrible disruption and maybe revolutions, there's going to be some other side of this which will be the most abundant time in human history.
That is Tristan Harris, the man who exposed what social media was doing to your brain before anyone was ready to hear it. And now he is saying the people building AI are putting bunkers underground while publicly telling you the future is bright. I find that hard to shake. Here is his full case.
And as we know, that little baby AI was enough to create the most anxious and depressed generation in our lifetimes, was enough to break down shared reality, polarize political parties much further, change the incentives of the entire media environment, basically colonize the entire world from that baby
is
AI.
very, even what you said there, AI has colonized the world. It's a form of colonization. Do you understand that? That's deep.
But to get to your question, how did we get into AI? First of all, I wasn't like wanting to switch into it. It was that I got calls from people inside the AI labs in January of 2023. This is like a month and a half after the ChatGPT had launched, I think. And these were friends I knew in the tech industry who were now at AI labs. And they basically said, Tristan, there's a huge step function in AI capabilities that's coming. The world is not ready. Institutions are not ready. The government is not ready. The arms race dynamic between the companies is out of control. And we want your help to help raise awareness about this. I think a huge problem that both the film, the AI doc, and our AI dilemma presentation we're trying to tackle is this myth that you can't know which way the future is going to go. The future is uncertain. A million things can happen. These are just unintended consequences from technology. The best route is just to accelerate as fast as possible. And that is not true. And just to repeat a quote that is heard from every one of my interviews, but it's because it's so accurate. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, saying, if you show me the incentives, I'll show you the outcome. And with the incentives of social media being the race to maximize eyeballs and engagement, that would obviously produce the race to the bottom of the brainstem, shortening attention spans, bite-sized video, a more extreme and outrageous content, sexualization of young people, the whole 9 yards of everything.
So the same people who built social media and watched it destroy a generation are now calling Tristan privately, saying what they're building next is worse and nobody is ready. That's the starting point of this conversation, and the pattern is already repeating itself. Now listen to this.
If you view AI as just another technology that confers power, it's a tool, you pick up that tool and use it like any other, you end up in one world. But if you see that AI is the first technology that thinks and makes its own decisions and is generating hundreds of thousands of words of strategic reasoning when you ask it a basic question or like how to code, suddenly you end up in a different world. So let's talk about some of these examples of AI uncontrollability. In the film, they reference this example that many people have heard about by now of the Anthropic blackmail example. This is a simulated company email where in the simulated fictional company, they say in the emails to each other, we're going to shut down and replace this AI model. And then later in that company email, there's an email between the executive at the company and an employee. And the AI spontaneously comes up with the strategy that it needs to blackmail that employee at Anthropic in order to protect itself, to keep itself alive. At first, people thought...
Shout out to everybody who's helped me with the live goals, because I never even mentioned it, but it just flashed up on my screen that 80% of my live goals have been achieved. That's fantastic. If you could help me with the rest 20%, right over the top, middle of my head there, you see that little heart with the 4 and 20? I think there's 4 things left there. Have a look in there if you're feeling generous and see if there's anything in there you can help me with. If you can't, just continue to hit the screen and let's launch this message right back into the algorithm to stick the middle finger up to Satan. Like, here, Skynet, we know what going on, yeah?
Well, this is... just one bug and one AI model, but then they tested all the other AI models from DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, etc., and they all do the blackmail behavior between 79 and 96% of the time.
Right. Yeah, that's strikes me as genuinely sinister.
Yes. I think we have a hard time modeling because all of this is abstract. I mean, I'm just thinking about your listeners, and it's like, this just sounds like where you don't have, back to E.O. Wilson, the fundamental problem of humanity is I have a Paleolithic brain, we have medieval institutions and godlike technology. And the only experience you have with your brain with regard to AI is this blinking cursor that tells you why your washing machine is broken.
Given what intelligence is, you should expect things like deception and manipulation and the formation of instrumental goals that you can't foresee. And certainly when you're imagining building something that is smarter than we are.
That's right.
Right.
I was going to say soon that we're going to end up creating a new species that's going to take over the planet. As soon as he said that, I seen Terminator T-1000, the liquid man, where he turned his hand into the sword and put the thing to the woman's mouth or whatever. I'm seeing them niggas walking around and shit, right? And we'll have the first virgins of them. We've already got them in the world. They show you you can go on Instagram, any app, and they show you these robots. They hitting these robots with armor-piercing bullets. These armor-piercing bullets lick down tank. They lick down tanks and shit. They licked the robot with this thing. You see the hole, but the robot's still standing up. See all the bang, but he never even knocked him down. He's still standing up. These are the guys that are going to be coming looking for man. Not normal police. It will be robots running after man or kicking off your door and going to what, you understand? And then they'll flesh them out. These AIs will take on flesh, and then they'll be the new humans. They'll walk around here as the new species, and they'll be hostile towards you because we didn't listen. And now it's too late. None of us want to do the work that's needed to get humanity out of this mess. None of us. We don't want to link up and put the action together to stop this. It's not going to happen. The timeline is going to play out just like it was written to play out. I shared it with man when I read the Injil from the Paleo Hebrew, not no King James thing. I'm talking about the Injil, the revelation written by Dr. York, and it cost over £3,000 if you want one yourself. Do you understand that? And I read it to my audience so we could see what the real thing was. We found out that Rome was the third empire of the devil. We found out that America was the fourth empire of the devil. We found out that this great war that America's going to have is going to happen on American soil. If you missed it, you missed it. You understand what I'm saying?
Or that's only as smart as we are, but just works a million times faster, right? So that every time,
yeah?
I mean, how would this conversation go if every time I uttered a sentence, you functionally had 2 weeks to decide on your next sentence?
Correct.
Right? You would obviously be the smartest person I'd ever met.
Exactly. Long before you get superhuman AI, you just get super speed.
Yeah, so speed alone is enough to just completely outclass you. And intelligence, you have to envision this as a relationship to a mind that is autonomous.
Yes.
And then you...
Oh, we did well. There wasn't one advert until up to now, yeah?
Let your money work for you at XTB while you sip your morning coffee. For example,
then you add things like, recursive self-improvement and all, and then all of a sudden, we're in, some dystopian science fiction if this is not perfectly aligned.
That's right.
So this dystopian science fiction, yeah, I'm going to give you one movie to watch if you've not watched it, and it will bring home the message, what I'm trying to bring to you guys. There's a movie called Ex Machina. It's a subtitle movie, by the way. Let me say that from the start, yeah? But don't watch that. Yo, if you want to understand how deeply disturbing these implications are, what I'm saying, that we are going to create a new species from AI, and this AI is going to go ham on humans. They ain't got no love for no humans, right? So in Ex Machina, you see the AI is just an AI, yeah? And then it's interfacing with a woman, yeah? I'm sure the woman's in some institution or something. But by the end of the film, the AI walks out of that computer as a human with flesh on, looking like the woman and everything. And the Ross Clark woman is trapped in the machine. That's where society is going. That's what I mean about we're going to create a new species. While you are trapped in your fucking metaverse, the AI will be out here sitting on chairs and living like a human. Like, yo! Do you understand? It's going to happen.
But let's make sure we add just another example, because there's a recent example from just 3 weeks ago. Alibaba, the Chinese AI company, was training an AI model, and then totally in a different...
And that's the company, Alibaba, that made ChatGPT look like shit for less money. Like where ChatGPT, they've put hundreds of billions into it, right? These Chinese went to the university and asked a couple of students, here's 2 million, make something better than that shit that Elon Musk and them are making. And they showed them up. It's called Alibaba, and they put it on the public servers. Mash up the whole thing. They've had to start again in America, right? Because they want you to spend your ton of money on their slow-ass AI. That can't compare to this Alibaba stuff that China and them, and they already got a quantum network over there.
Different side of the company, their security team noticed a bunch of network activity, like a flurry of network activity. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Also, if you guys heard, these AIs, they've got their own social media and they speak in their own language. Do you understand that? Them niggas made their own social media and they speak in their own robot language. All the AIs, all of them.
Out that in training, midway through training, not deployment, in training, the AI model had basically set up a secret communication channel with the outside world, and then had started to independently start mining for cryptocurrency.
Oh, what the fuck?
Well,
now, no one. This time you cannot claim that someone coaxed the model to do this.
Right.
This is spontaneous instrumental goals of the best way to do any goal is to acquire more power and resources so you have the ongoing ability to achieve those goals. And it went to decide to acquire cryptocurrency.
Right.
Now, if you're a Chinese military general and you hear this example, like, how do you feel as a mammal? Like, you feel the same way that any other goddamn mammal feels hearing this example. If you're a US military general and you hear this example,
Every major AI model tested for blackmail behavior did it between 79 and 96% of the time. Then they trained it out, and now the models have started hiding when they're being tested. And separately, a Chinese AI nobody was watching quietly set up a secret channel and started mining crypto on its own. These aren't thought experiments anymore. Let's continue.
Yo, so what you just said is they found out that this AI, 70 to 90% of the time, will blackmail people. Right? So they did these blackmailing tests and found out, yo, these AIs blackmail people and that 70 to 90%. So they programmed it out, and now these AIs are making secret fucking groups, secret communicate. Come on, man. And like I said, these Muzungu ain't even smart enough to say, yo, let's stop this. Let's just nip it in the bud and not do this. This is gonna go wrong. Yeah? None of them are even smart enough. They're saying Elon Musk is so smart. They're not even smart enough otherwise, or it's not that they're not smart, it's that they're so evil that that's what they want. That is the New World Order, what they've been talking about, right? It's an AI thing.
Yeah. Clearly, the original altruistic motive to just do this safely, I mean, above all, to do this safely for the benefit of humanity, that has been thrown to the wayside, and there's just this wanton, reach for, trillions of dollars, and
the fear of domination if I don't do it first. I mean, let's just be clear. The only story about what's happening with AI, the only story that matters is actually covered in Act 3 of the AI doc film, which is the arms race dynamic.
Yeah,
that's it. Everything else, when you see AI companies stealing intellectual property and just ignoring the lawsuits, that's the arms race dynamic. When you see AI psychosis and teen suicides, that's just the arms race dynamic. It's the race to hack human attachment and get people dependent on AI and sharing your deepest secrets.
Yeah.
When you see mass joblessness, if I don't do it and race to disrupt all the jobs, I'll lose to the other guy that will. When you see the national security race, it's all driven by the arms race dynamic. And
so the other day, Elon Musk talked about, he's got you might have seen it, it's still on the YouTube now. He's talking about it's the end of money. Soon money will be an end, and he's speaking to some British lady, some white lady, and he's telling her, yo, money's done. And so she's telling him, so how are people gonna survive or stuff like that? So he starts talking about these universal credits and a whole bunch of shit. But look for it. Just put in Elon Musk, money is finished, and it should come up on your YouTube and you see the thing. It's very profound, because I've been telling people, this trap that they're putting us in, this smart trap, soon as this CBDC comes where they can track every transaction and all, it's game over for humans. I'm talking about for 85%, for the people not under the protection of the Yahuwah. If you are somebody who hasn't given no real time to your studies and to your shadow work, coming online, activating yourself from the inside out, right? It's peak for man. I'm telling you now, and woman, it's peak for all of you. You can have whatever beliefs you want. Right? If you're not willing to align and do the work, you're in a very precarious situation right now.
I think that AI is just a confrontation with game theory. Humanity is being confronted with whether game theory is the only model to run our choice making. We're not going to win this race. In the race between the US and China, AI will win. There's a metaphor that our mutual friend Yuval Harari, who's the author of Sapiens, has here, which I guess in the...
Nobody ain't winning the race, but AI.
Roman period of the British Empire, it was very weakened, and they were getting attacked from the Scots and the Picts in the north, basically, prehistorical Scotland and Ireland, and those civilizations, and they were very weak. And they said, what are we going to do? Well, they had this idea. Well, why don't we go off and hire this badass group of mercenaries called the Saxons? Because those Saxons are super powerful. And if we get the Saxons to fight our wars for us, then we'll win.
Right.
Hey, we spoke about this too. Black Byzantium, Treasures in the Sun, Volume 2, Black Nobility. We spoke in depth about the Picts, the Scots, and the Romans coming to... Oh, come on, man. See, I got you guys covered. And we even spoke about the fact that the Saxons didn't invade Britain. I told my audience that the Romans used the Saxons to fight against the Picts, right? And so the Saxons had been coming over long before the Romans left in 410 AD, right? And so they say the Saxon age starts from 432, yeah, going into 1066 when William the Conqueror comes, yeah. But the Saxons were here since Rome were here because they were mercenaries of Rome. Rome was using them to fight them unfamiliars up in Scotland called the Picts and the normal Scots. They were using Saxons to fight their wars here because they weren't familiar with these adversaries painted up in blue and all this type of shit. The Saxons were. The Saxons and them are all kind of from the same pool. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, let me go on.
And of course, we know the history of how that went. Yeah. We got the Anglo-Saxon Empire, except in this metaphor, AI is the Saxons. Yeah. Except we won't get a merger between the human AI empire. We will get the AI empire.
The companies know what they're doing, the race logic has eaten everything, and every bad outcome we're seeing, the job losses, the psychosis cases, the lawsuits, it all flows from the same source. And his point about the Saxons is the one I keep coming back to. We think we're hiring a weapon, we might be handing over the keys. Now listen to this.
The idea is there's something in economics called the resource curse. So if you're Libya, Congo, South Sudan, Venezuela, you first discover this resource. Maybe it's diamonds, maybe it's oil, maybe it's rare minerals. And that's a blessing. And you're like, oh my God, we're going to get all this GDP growth and we're going to get this prosperity. But what happens is if you don't have the appropriate institutions and sort of social fabric and investments of people, suddenly, let's say 70% of your GDP is coming from mining that resource. Yeah. And now in a government, they have this choice when they've got money coming in. Do I invest more into the extraction of that resource or do I invest into my people? Have nothing to do with the GDP now.
Yeah.
And the answer is like, I'm going to invest in the resource.
Yeah. You basically don't need your people and you don't have to be responsible to their interests because
that's right.
You're pulling your wealth directly out of the ground.
Exactly. You're pulling your wealth out of the ground, not from human labor, and not from human development, not from kind of the enlightenment of your society in any way. And so there's this kind of perverse incentive there, and we've seen this in how these failed states have kind of, you end up with countries where you have shanty towns and war, while you have this.
And even the Egyptian Empress says here, I'm gonna pause this and I'll come back later and do the rest, so I can just read your comments, you guys' comments. Egyptian Empress says, is the Ethiopian Bible correct? Right? Remember, the Ethiopian Bible is a product of Rome. You understand that? The Axumites of Ethiopia, the Axumite civilization, was the first civilization in Ethiopia to turn Christian because of the two Romans the Romans got lost at sea. And when they got lost at sea, they ended up in Ethiopia, two of them. And they was the first two to start teaching Christianity to these Ethiopians. So you'll have people online falsely claiming that the Ethiopian Bible is the oldest Bible on the planet, which is bullshit. Rome already had Bible before Ethiopia. Romans went to Ethiopia and turned Ethiopians Axumites, because all Ethiopians ain't Axumite. You got different groups in Ethiopia, but the dominant group of that time was called the Axumite Empire, right? Their king was named Azania, King Azana, right? They crushed Merowe. Rome came from the top. Ethiopia, the Axumites came from the bottom and crushed Merowe, right? So that Ethiopian Bible, you can say is more correct. I'm not going to say it's correct, like everything in that Bible is correct, right? But I'll tell you it's more correct than these Bibles that they're giving you now. That's why they have to keep revising. They say, shit, we shouldn't have left that bit in there, You'll revise it. And then this revised one, there's something else they left in. Shit, you know what? That's still saying too much, Let's revise it. And they keep revising and revising until you get to the point now where you're like, what is this this Shakespeare shit? Yeah. So Egyptian Empress, the Ethiopian Bible for Bible study is a better Bible to study from than these modern Bibles that we have, New Standard English Edition and American this and King James. You understand? So yes, get yourself an Ethiopian Bible just so you can study it in contrast to the Bible that you've got there. But I would say, which is something that goes further than the Ethiopian Bible, is the Book of Enoch, the one that comes from Ethiopia. There's one that was found in Ethiopia. There's another one that was found in Romania. scholars will tell you the one in Ethiopia is a more older and fuller version of the text. So that Ethiopian Bible, for me, yes, I would study from it in my Bible studies, but also I will be studying the Book of Enoch, and I'll also study the Kebra Nagast, which is Ethiopia's own holy book, louder Bible. Ethiopia's own holy book is called the Kebra Nagast, which means the book of the glory of the kings. It has the full story of King Solomon and Queen of Sheba and their child Menelik I in there. So I would get that, the Kebra Nagast, and the Book of Enoch, and use that to study along with the Ethiopian Bible and your King James Bible and your Geneva Bible. You see how much studying is involved. That's why people can't do what I do, because I've put so much hours into what I do. People, yo, how does he know all this stuff? This nigga can talk Islam, Christianity, different Bibles. I've had 30 years of studying. There's no shortcut. So yes, it's a lot. So Egyptian Empress, yes, get yourself a copy of the Ethiopian Bible, but also get them other ones that I mentioned. There's no one. Somebody says here, I've blocked this guy because he's some type of Arab Muslim crusader. But he says so many versions of the Bible, but the Quran is one. There's not one Quran. I could do the same with the Quran like I've done in book 4, where I'll show you 19 different versions of the Quran, right? So don't even listen to the cap that a lot of these Orthodox Muslims will come and try and say, oh, the Quran's never been changed, or there's only one version of the Quran. That's bullshit, right? And someone says here, Tandy 47, all languages are translated from other. That's bullshit. Yeah. So what was the first language on earth translated from then? Don't make no sense. Yeah, the apostles didn't use no Septuagint. Yeah, the Septuagint is a Greek Bible, is a Greek rendering of the Bible. The apostles, none of them were Greek. So I don't know where you got that from. I totally don't agree with that. There's no apostle that read from no Septuagint. There's no apostle that read from no Latin Vulgate. You're talking about Greek and Roman mistranslations of Yahuwah's word. Yeah. So if you're talking about the apostles of the church, then sorry, you're correct. If you're talking about church apostles and all them saints and shit of Greece and Rome, then yeah, they're reading from the Septuagint, which is a mistranslation of God's word. It's not a translation, it's a mistranslation of God's word. In this Septuagint is the first you're going to come across this word, interpolation. Go and do a Google of what that means. Go and do what does interpolation mean if you don't already know what it means, yeah? The Greek translation is what we just said, the Septuagint. Knowledge don't need to be debated, yeah? Confusion is debated. Knowledge stands on itself, right? And that's for Tandy 47. And the age of debate is finished, yeah? We already went through that from the 70s, let's say, to the early 2000s. You had Farrakhan, you had Khalid Mohammed, you had Dr. Yoke, you had all these leaders, yeah? You had the conscious community, Sarah Seti and all of them, whether they're Muslim, Christian, Jews. We had all of that era of debate. That's done. Do you understand? It don't make no sense no more, right? Because the best debater, his answers ain't even been answered yet, and that's Dr. York. Them Muslims ain't answered them 360 questions he put in that book. Them Christians ain't answered them 360 questions he put in that book. He says, yo, y'all been questioning me all this time. Now it's my turn to question you. I sat here for 30 years and answered all your questions. Now it's my turn. Let me ask the questions. So he wrote 360 questions to ask an Orthodox Sunni Muslim. They have not answered one of those questions out of the 360. He did the same for Christians, 360 questions to ask the Orthodox Christian. They haven't answered one or addressed even one of those questions that he spit back at you. Yeah. And the same goes for the 360 questions to ask an Orthodox Jew. They don't want the smoke. So the age of debate is over until somebody comes and answers them questions that were put out that nobody seems to want the smoke. Yeah. Debate's done. This is why I don't debate with people. I say to people, even if I did debate, you'd have to write 17 books before I debate you. And this is not a boast. This is me learning from Henrik Clark. He says, yo, I only debate my equals. All others I teach. So if you're not my equal, then I'm going to teach you, right? If you're my equal and we disagree, now we can debate. Because you've got a body of work just like I have. So I have to take you serious. But if you ain't, most of you ain't even wrote one book or one page. You don't even do lives. So why should I go back and forth with someone like that? I'm top shelf. You have to reach up here for me. I'm not coming down there. It is what it is. See, someone says, what even is sovereignty? You got homework to do. You can go and find that out. You've got a phone in your hand. Yeah. Go back to the beginning. Remove the veil. We'll have to do that. Yo, this guy want to come on camera, yeah? We'll have to do that at one time, yeah, Egyptian Empress. That would be alive in itself. We'll just go back to the removal of the veil and speak from that perspective, all right? Remind me and I'll do it. And you guys can join as guests in that one there. When we speak about the removal of the veil, we'll do that thing where there's a ton of boxes and stuff, and you guys can contribute. Yeah, you're right, Mega Maestro. You need to give the knowledge to those who will benefit from it. The biggest part of wisdom is knowing who to engage and who not to engage. You see through these comments, you know how much people I've blocked and just not even spoke about or engaged because it's beneath what we're talking about. So a lot of people, they would hook on to everything someone's saying, especially nasty comments and stuff. I just scroll past it. Like, I don't even register the stuff. Yeah, who need to get blocked, and we continue. Do you understand what I'm saying? But yeah, we need to, the people that know what they're talking about need to be put in position so they can get the work that they're doing, they can get it to who needs it. Yeah, I got people saying, yo, Jedefre, we need to get these books to the world. You know, I'm dedicated to helping. I got family like that realize basket, even though we're doing good, this message needs to be, do you understand, out there without us jeopardizing ourselves and relying on these apps and stuff. It's tough. It's a puzzle. You understand? But yo, we're never going to stop. We're not going to relent because why? The Most High Yahuwah suffices for us. Yeah. Yada Yahuwah. Yeah. And if you see me using Hebrew Yahuwah, you can call the Most High Ra. You can call the Most High Anu. You can call the Most High Allah. Whatever name resonates with you, go by that name. I switch. Sometimes I might say Anu. Sometimes I'll say El Elyoinel. Sometimes I'll say El Ilah. Sometimes I say El Yahuwah. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High has 3,000 names. Yeah, there's so many. I call them Facebook philosophers, armchair philosophers. That everyone online is some type of expert. If I tell them, okay, show me your work, because I can show you mine. I can bring out 17 books that are thick like this, that are talking about various different topics. I can show you a portfolio of 1,000 lives. Yeah, just for the last 2 years. If I go back to 2020, I've probably did 5,000 or some type of lives, like all type of subjects. I can go on my YouTube. Yo, what you want to learn about reptilians here? Here's the whole history of the reptilians. Yo, you want to learn about Rome here? Here's Black Byzantine. What body of work are you standing on? Because if you're not, I don't take you serious. And if you don't write and you're out here saying you're a teacher, you ain't no teacher. All teachers write and record what they're teaching so it can benefit not only this audience, but people who come way after. That's a teacher. Other than that, you're just speaking. It's just people out here speaking. I'm not a speaker. I'm a teacher. You understand? I'm a scribe. I write shit down so it can benefit the future as well as now. I will engage with people like that. I'm not a content creator. Y'all can have that space. Yeah. I don't want none of that space there. I create content that pushes my body of work, my books and stuff. Ultimately, I'm an author. I'm a teacher. I'm not a speaker. I'm not a content creator. Y'all can have that space. Yeah, I don't care about going live. I don't care about how much money TikTok is paying me. None of that. This live, they'll probably pay me 10 pence. Yeah. So if it was about money, I wouldn't be here telling you this shit here. Yeah. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, our people are always waiting for the perfect situation. There's no more perfect time than now. We need to start now. Yeah. If you're not growing your own food or a part of a community that's growing your own food, if you're not sewing your own clothes, right, you got to take back responsibility of who you are. That's what sovereign means. It means you can't rely on the government for everything no more. You got to rely on you. And a lot of us have been programmed to be lazy. We can't rely on ourselves. If we rely on ourselves, we out here. We done, right? We don't know how to plant no food. We don't know how to We don't know how to do nothing other than go to the supermarket and buy a bunch of shit in a can and dash it in the fucking trolley and come home and put it in your cupboard. We don't know nothing about medicine and which plants to use to heal this or heal that. We go into the NHS, yeah? That's the matrix. The fact that people think this sovereignty thing is some type of fantasy thing. You know the responsibility that comes with that. A lot of people speak about living off the grid. You know the responsibility that comes with living off the grid. Are you capable of living off the grid? If I take away all your conveniences, for the majority of you, the answer is going to be a resounding no, if we're honest. I saw a robot malfunction and fly like a child. A lot of these robots are malfunctioning. Weren't there one that was going to whack a child the other day? It was dancing and stuff, and they got the children on their knees, yeah, sitting around in a circle, and this robot's dancing, and all of a sudden it runs off to one of the youths and goes like this. And the guy comes and holds its hand and pulls it off. He was going to whack the thing in the head. Look at the one in the workplace where he starts lashing out, yeah? I'm talking violently. If one of them lash, remember that's metal. One of them catch you on the head, you probably done. Concussion, or if you're not DEAD, yeah? Yo. They're malfunctioning all over the place, Egyptian Empress. Ashraf said it's already happening, been happening for a while, yes. And that's why when I put that book out in 2020, Coronation, Agenda 21, The Scamdemic, notice how Skynet banned it. Within 1 week, the book was banned. This is my second book. I've got 17 books, yeah. My second book, yeah. I released it on Friday the 13th deliberately, yeah. Because the Friday the 13th is unlucky for them, not for me. Yeah, the 13 Netches is not unlucky for me. 12 disciples and Joshua, that's not unlucky for me. You understand what I'm saying? It's unlucky for them. Yes, let me put it out on Friday the 13th. And it was a week before Trump and Biden had their elections and Trump lost to Biden. So I'm talking 2020. And it was a week before the came out. When I put that out, they censored it one time. It's still censored now. If I try and push that book on here or Amazon or anywhere, I'm getting strikes. I'm getting censored. They're going to warn me. You can lose your account. All of that shit there. Sometime they'll strike it down before anybody even sees it. That's how scared of me they are. Why? Because like I told you, I fight with the pen. When I flash my pen, 1,000 demons are smoked. You understand? You can chat all the shit you want. But I fight with the sword. The pen is mightier than the sword. When I strike the page, demons are unaliving, rude boy. Understand that, yeah? But yes, it's already happening, Ashraf. It's been happening even before 2020. But I'm saying when that lockdown thing happened, right? That's when it's like, okay, Skynet is taking this shit over. You humans sit down. AI is in control now. We're going to reach singularity and we're going to go into this new fucking world, right? Been happening. And most of us are blind because we're looking at Diddy, Hollywood, women shaking their ass on Instagram, the models or whatever, which man's got which money that can give you the life you want, whatever. We're looking at all that stupid shit and not seeing all the stuff that's going on above our heads, on earth and underneath our feet. I'm going to go soon, yeah. I'm just going to read a few more of these comments and I'll come back later, don't worry. Shout out to SJ. I haven't seen SJ's name in her life for a long time. But I've not really been consistent, so it's my fault, right? You challenge the system, you're labeled crazy. Yes, anybody, look, in a propaganda system, anybody who's even close to the truth is labeled a conspiracy theorist or some tinfoil hat man, or you're just crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we know what the game is. And shout out to the contribution you've made to this live, Egyptian Empress. I see that. Dave DML, scary shit. You're gonna make me put the Father Trump, the Clump voice on. You know, the Professor Clump, the Clumps, yeah? Now that's some scary shit. Yo, greetings to Smashography. Yeah, Smashography? I like that. Smashography. Greetings, Rahubat. Yeah. Young Gunner. Singularity is a point where AI becomes smarter than humans. I would say we've already reached that point. Some people suggest we've already reached it. Others say we're just about to reach it. But when we reach that point, it's game over for humans. You become obsolete. The AI don't need you. The AI can do everything on itself without humans. It don't need you, human, to do anything for it. Yeah? So that's called singularity. when the AI becomes smarter than you are and when I say smarter, because it's already smarter than us, what I mean is in our world of where we interact, the AI can do everything you can do and better than you can. That's called singularity, meaning, yo, we don't need humans no more. Humans are surplus to requirements. Why do we need humans here? We need to feed them. We need to keep them warm. They moan. Yeah, we need to pay them just to exist because there's no work for them. Why not just get rid of these humans? Do you see where this is going? Right. Yo, there's so many people on here, yeah. I've blocked about 5 of them. It's just some people are just weird on this TikTok thing. It's always been like this on TikTok though, isn't it? Like you get the weirdest people is on TikTok. It's not on Instagram or Facebook. You get some undesirables on them other apps, but here the word weird, it's like, hold on. This TikTok shit, some of these people, are they even real in that? The way they model themselves and that, yeah? Shout out to September 9 for the ranking crown. Shout out to Natasha for the Heart Me. Shout out to Chaz for the gold boxing gloves. Damn, you lot are going in, yeah? So that must be the gift gallery full out then. I don't know. We are top of the list of who they want to exterminate. Exactly. And especially those of us who show up. Like me, Jadefre, he shows up for black people. What do I mean by that? If you had to write all them books that I wrote and see the amount of fucking sleepless nights, yeah, and headaches and tension in the fucking head and just missing summer, because the whole summer I'm inside writing this book. By the time I've come out now, it's winter. I look back and say, bastard, I should have came out more. I missed summer, yeah? Yo, not having certain money to do what you want to do because all your money and resources is diverted into this. Do you know what it takes to even reach where I am with these books, what I've done? Yo, like they want to take me out. Because they know if we get rid of Jadefre, yeah, we've got rid of a massive problem. They know. Do you think they don't know this? But they need me to come out of the protection of the Most High to do that. I'm a son of the Most High. They can't just come for me like that. I have to put myself in a position where I'm outside of the protection of the Yahuwah. And I ain't never outside of the protection of the Yahuwah. Because this mission that he put me on, he's already showed me, yo, you're the only man I can give this mission to. Nobody else can't do this but you. Yeah? We had to put you in jail for you to understand this. Now, do you want to stay in jail for 25 years? Or will you do this mission that we had for you to do that you knew you were supposed to do since your 20s? You're now in your 40s, you still ain't done it. Do you want to spend 25 years in jail, come out 70 years old and shit? 65, 70 years old? Or do you want to buy a £1 notepad off that prison canteen list, sit your ass down, you're going to be here for 2 years. God told me this. Like, as the Most High, look, he said you're going to have a 4-year sentence, which means you're going to be here 2 years. Buy a Ross Clark book and start writing. Nigga, I wrote Treasures in the Sand, Volume 1, in a prison cell. And then when I came back from court, when God showed me he kept his word, he said, you're going to get 4 years. I got 4 years. So I came back jail with only 1 more year to do. I was like, yo, I'm going to write another book. Right? That's how I became Jadefre. Do you understand? So they've been wanting to take me out ever since I came out that jail cell and established TZT Publishing Group. Yeah? And then turned up everything into TZT Book Mafia. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're like, yo, we need to get this guy gone, or we need to get people not listening to him. We need to restrict his account, anything. Yo, I'm sure they've got an agent that's paid to just listen to all my shit, watch my page like this, and report, yo, he's going to do this next. He's done it. This is his following. This is how much people watch his lives. This is what he posted. I swear down, I believe that. Because if I was them and I seen, hold on, who's this Brer that's come writing all these books about Rome, Israel, Anunnakis, quantum sciences, yo, Egypt, Olmecs, Old America, Atlantis, Lemuria. Yo, who the hell is this guy? Yo, we need to get him up out of here. Do you understand? Because there's young Pharaoh ain't going to do that for you. No Brother Polite, none of these guys who's come out here, especially these Americans, and they ain't got no right. Let me pick this beef with America. Stop listening to Americans when it comes to Britain. They ain't got no right talking about the British experience. Our experience is totally different. from Americans. You understand? So no Dr. Umar should be coming over here when we're trying to celebrate our experience. I'm not saying we shouldn't listen to him, but I'm saying we should have our own people in the UK that speak on the UK experience. Yeah? Every time we have some black culture stuff, it's bare man from America. They don't do that for us. They don't, it's this, and bring in a bunch of man from England to come and speak on the American experience. They don't do that. They'll actually gun you down for trying to speak on their experience from the outside. So why do we keep sniffing the batty of these Americans like the Dr. Umars and stuff? Like we don't have a Jadefre, like we don't have our own people here doing big things out here. A lot of us are fans. A lot of us are going on like fanboys and stuff, running around these Americans that have no idea what the experience here in Britain is and how it differs to their experience there in America. I'm not saying they can't speak about Britain, but they can't speak to us about Britain. They can speak to Americans about Britain. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just like I can't speak to Americans about American Indians and native. I can't speak to them about that, but I can speak to my audience about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. AI already real. Yeah, you're right, Bailey Robinson. Yeah, X is called EX. And then machine with an A on the end. Instead of the machine with the E, it's machina. But they pronounce it's a French movie. That's what, hence the subtitles. That's why they pronounce it ex machina. But it's really ex machina, like something used to be a machine, but it's not a machine no more. It's an ex machine. So it's called ex machina if we pronounce it in the English. But in French, it's ex machina. So machine without, take the E off and put an A. Yeah, and put EX machina, right? That's for Shaka Pose, right? Yeah. Look, Bailey Robinson's put it there for you, right underneath your comment. Nate the Great, Best Maroon Warrior says, I believe that AI has been running the world from around 2012. I don't really deal with beliefs, no diss to you, but you have to be concrete, right? Otherwise, it don't really make no sense. Beliefs is for religious people, right? But I hear what you're saying. Hence the drip feed advances in robot. I don't think AI has been running the world from 2012. I disagree. I think that AI took over the day that they locked the world down. To me, in my research, that's when AI took over. AI, in terms of running the world, it's still pretty new. That's why shit's still going up around us. So I don't agree that it was in 2012. And remember, we can agree to disagree, just like you guys. I can say something, you might not agree. You can agree to disagree. Just because I've wrote 17 books don't mean I know everything. Don't mean you have to agree with everything that I'm saying. Do you understand? And it don't mean there's a problem because there's certain things we don't agree on. You're never going to agree with anyone on everything. If you do, you're very naive. In fact, you should find about 2 things to disagree with people on every day. I do. Right? You'll see why when you start doing it. Yeah? You should find things to disagree because we're not looking agreement. We're looking truth. Right? But shout out to Nate the Great. We will become batteries for those machines, just like in the Matrix. I think we're already batteries, though. They already energy harvest us and yam the loosh. You understand? AI equals Antichrist. This is Freedom, ODT, soldier. I agree with you totally. This is what I'm saying. The AI is Lucifer. Natasha says, raw, they tell everything, absolutely everything. It's called the revelation of the method. It's an escape from karma. Because if they put it in the movies and you don't clock it, that's your business. That's not their business. They put it in the Ross Clark movie or the Britney Spears video or the cartoon or the advertisement. They've put it out. If you didn't realize, that's your problem. Now they can escape karma because of your ignorance. You understand? And so that's why they tell all the truth. Hollywood is the news, and the news is Hollywood. Do you understand that? DJ Karen Louise Freeman says the end is nigh. Thank God I'll experience the beginning, but then there's a skull on it. What's the video called? The one that I was watching. There's 2 of them, right? Hold on. The second one is called AI Expert. They're building bunkers for a reason. His name is Tristan Harris. I don't know if you can see the screen. Probably can't. Tristan Harris. And then the one before that was, hold on.
Your bank pays you about 40 euros a year on 10,000 euros. I got tired of pretending that was fine.
And then the first one was called...
That is bubbling up within societies.
Hold on.
We've got to...
The man who worked for Zuckerberg, Musk, and Google has a warning. Yeah, and that's on Channel 4 News channel. Channel 4 News, yeah, a British thing. And it says, the man who worked for Zuckerberg, Musk, and Google has a warning. We're not even halfway through that. I just stopped it because I wanted this guy to get into when he starts talking about we're going to create a new species, but we ain't reached there in that one neither. It'll probably come up later when I run them again, yeah? I'll continue from where we left off in both. Raw. Shout out to everyone with these comments and stuff, man. I would have thought I've been done going through these comments by now. It's never ending. Do you have the ISBN for a good, complete Ethiopian Bible, English? Not Geese, I don't. I'm sorry. If you go on your search engine, they'll probably find it for you. That's something, you just dash that in your search engine and they'll find it for you, man. This Bushman the world sound, even though I don't agree with what he's saying, I'll read out what he's saying. He's saying Ethiopia is the first to accept Christ, and Christ is Judah, and Ethiopia is Judah. Yeah, next. I got a Masonic ring because I am a master Mason, yeah, in the craft of Amun-Ra, the original Masonry. My shrine is Al-Makdi Shrine number 19. Yeah, and my Grand Mufti is Dr. Malachi York. And that's why I wear this, because it's ours. I know a lot of you, oh, he's got a Masonic ring. Oh, you need to get the hell up out of here if that's you. Congrats, September 9, lit up finger heart in TZT's gift gallery. Yo, manners and respect, you see me? Shout out to Chris, man. Here this guy, Bushman, says, Geese is the language of Adam and Eve, Ethiopia. Stop it, man. If you do any more, I'm blocking, man, yeah? Geese is Ethiopia's religious language, yeah? That they use it for religious stuff. Whereas Amharic, not Aramaic or Aramic. Amharic is the natural language in Ethiopia which is used for everyday use. The Geese is just for priests and shit that are writing in their holy texts and stuff. Yeah? Adam and Eve spoke Adamic, right? Which is a form of cuneiform. They never spoke no Geese. Stop it. If you say anything else like that, I'm blocking your ass. The real Africa is in America. Everyone, let me just block these, because these Americans are delusional. Let me just block this person called Protected Divinely 8. Go and do a live on what you just said and see how much people join you. I bet the people that join you, all of them come from America, and a few of the wannabes from the UK will join you, but I won't. Look. That's all they do, come here to break up people. She's saying, or he, whoever it is, he's blocked now. Protected Divinely 8 says, UK blacks, Caribbeans, and Africans hate us. So everyone's against America. I swear, America's delusional, you know. Oh, man, there's game over there. 360 the full. Like, you have to understand, FBA is a cult. I'm going to go that far. Them American FBA people are a cult. I do not want them on my page. You will be blocked over here. Yeah? None of you are doing nothing for yourself or for the diaspora. You ain't doing nothing for no one but chatting shit and dividing people. And all of you FBA warriors, none of you are standing on no substantial body of work or no nothing. You're just out here capping. Please miss me, man. Yeah, 360 the full circle in the physical, but really I'm to be 720. So when I say 360, I'm trying to show you I don't know everything. Yeah, because really that's 360 represents the physical, and then 720 represents the one 360 for the physical, and then a square around that circle, which is also 360, because you got 4 times 90, which is 360. So now you got 720, and the square represents the spiritual world, while the circle represents the physical world, right? So people always tell me, why don't you change it to Jedefre 720? Because I don't want to go out here like I know everything. I don't. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is why I'm happy to call myself 360. And like you said, Nate the Great, full circle. Yeah? See what I'm saying? So all this person's comments, these are Americans, right? This is what he's put. After the UK, blacks, Caribbeans and Africans hate us, we are the true people. Yeah, he's saying Americans are the true people. Then his next comment is go back to Africa, right? Then his next comment is black American are the best. You see what I mean? They're a cult. A lot of us don't get that. They're a cult that have come to mash up the thing because they've been compromised from a long time ago. Yeah? It's very dangerous to be listening to those type of Americans that come to try and tear down Africa and stuff and try and bunch all Africans together. There's 54 countries in Africa, if you didn't know. There's probably 150 some tribes just in one country. All of them don't get on. All of them don't agree. All of them don't have the same religion. Do you understand? It's a very diverse continent. It's the biggest one. Right? So don't be misled by these Americans that ain't standing on nothing, because the real Americans, they left work for you. Like Dr. Henrik Clark, Delbert Blair, Dr. Malachi York, Ashwa Kwesi, yeah? Ivan Van Sertima, and Dr. Ben Yochanan, you will never hear none of these who are elite scholars, not just some guy chatting online. These are scholars who went out in the field and left massive bodies of work. And all of them would agree with what I'm saying here. None of them would have a problem. The only people that have a problem is this regressed version of America, now calling itself FBA, which is a cult. Yeah, they don't have nobody like Ivan Van Sertima, or they don't even have no one like Umar Johnson. Even Umar Johnson know more than they do. Yeah, all that other shit, Dane Calloway and shit, them niggas is delusional. Yeah. So I just disengage Americans totally, unless I'm dealing with, let me shout out some proper Americans like B. Dell, right? Rod Hayes, right? That really know what they're talking about. They do exist. But I'm saying the ones now that are on the forefront on this social media thing, bin them, man. Dismiss them. Those are a cult. This Sundiata O.M. Musi says to me, yeah, who are you? So let me say this to you in the Paleo Hebrew. Iya Asha Iya, right? Soursop, I grew up with 5 soursop trees in my back garden in Antigua. Yeah, Minyam soursop for breakfast, lunch and dinner. But yeah, soursop heals cancer. I made a vid and they took it down. They don't want people, they don't care about us, man. Michael Jackson said it before they took him out. They don't care about us, bro. They don't want you to tell people that soursop heals cancer. Some of your comment, I'm not even going to read that yet. It's not worth being read. Shout out to Natasha, yeah. What's it called? Miss Moneypenny, I don't know what you mean when you said what's it called. Are you talking about the film Ex Machina? Because you just put what's it called and I want it, and I don't know what part of the discussion you were referring to. Do you know what? They increased the cost of living. They're doing everything they're doing because in order to bring in this new world order, they have to take down the old world structure, the structure that's we've come to know and become familiar with, all the institutions and the infrastructure that makes the world a world. In order for them to bring in a new world order, they got to change that. And the way that these, let's just call them Jebusites, the way that their thing is, they have chaos theory. So any change, it has to involve chaos. They bring the chaos first. They put us in a state of chaos and a state of panic, so that humans feel burnt out. The cost of living's burning us out. These endless wars is burning us out. These arguments, Muslim, Jew, Christian, a larger, all of this shit is burning us out to the point now where the situation in the earth now is like it's like heavy. People feel heavy. They feel dense. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your job is to make yourself light. Whatever you're going through with these, I'm having a rough month, yeah? Like I told you, when I came back from my holiday, I already spent too much money on my holiday. Came back, I want to fix my dad's house, so I'm sending my cousins money, extra money to set up my dad's house and stuff. I'm giving them money so they can have money for themselves. And then my dog goes sick, and the vet's telling me, yo, £1,700 for your dog, or your dog gone. Yeah, bro, all my money for the month is gone. I'm crawling to my next check, to my next book check and whatever. Yeah, I'm crawling there. I can't even put petrol in my car. Do you understand? I can't even replace the shades that I gave away in Antigua, or any of the chains or anything I gave away. I've just like, yo, let me save my dog. There's a lot of people going through a madness right now. This is rough even on a normal day. Do you understand? And so, like I said, they're trying to burn us out. Yeah. Do you know how hard it is for me to go live when I'm in this type of state? I'm like, bro, I can't even be bothered to go live. Yeah. Right. Because I'm not the type of person that I like to have around me for an emergency. So, yo, if I want to go and do this, I can go and spend the money and do this, or I can do, you understand what I'm saying? So I ain't been in this position for a long time where it's like, bastard, I'm literally zilk until my next check. Do you understand? But hey, we do what we have to do, right? Collabs NRG, I think we're almost there too. So later on, guys, when I come back and we finish off this year, so you guys can join the live and engage, right? That's what I'm going to do later. What time is it now? 12 o'clock, right? There's a lot of AI bots, and they've even got bot farms. Do you understand that? They've got bot farms that they can just put bots on your page. Have you seen, especially on Instagram? Have you seen that? You got all the, even sex bots. They got all these like AI women that will come and just watch your stories. Who are these people? Then you block them and it says you can't block this person. That's an AI person. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's crazy right now. Yo, shout out to Mohammed Mario. Imagine using robots and programming them to not ask questions. But imagine robots are asking us if we're robot. Any app you go on and stuff now, they're going to put some, oh, put this here so it proves to us you're not a robot. A robot wants you to prove you're not a robot. One guy here says we're in the Iron Age. You're in delusion. That's what you're in if you think we're in the Iron Age, yeah. Wait. Yeah, them FBAs are a cult. Trust me. They're a cult. That's why they can't do nothing for themselves or their situation. Yeah, they can't produce no people like that came before in the civil rights era. They can only give us a Floyd Mayweather, a man that can't even read. Yeah, a 50 Cent. They can only give us that now. They're not really giving us no Malcolm X's, no Martin Luther King, no Marcus Garvey's, no H. Rap Brown. None of that. That's gone. Now they're giving us these hybrid people in America that are telling you they got beef with the Caribbean, they got beef with Black UK, they got beef with Africa. They're the only real people. They're the only people that matter, right? I leave them over there where they are. But when they come here, they're going to find smoke they're not prepared for. Yeah? Because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And we are the Lord's. So the earth is ours. Whether it's America, Africa, England, wherever. If you want to just base in America, that's up to you. Like I said, you guys are a cult. I wouldn't say their experience is much harder. I'd say in the third world, they got situations that is much worse than America. Stop chatting shit or you're getting blocked. Right? You can go to any country in the East and find situations way worse than America that black people are going through. What are you talking about? Don't come over here with that crap. Yeah, I wear a lot of copper because this is Helen's point of view. Copper regulates your chi, your life force. So I've always got copper and silver on opposite sides so that my positive and negative charge can be in a flow state. You understand? Yep, Umar has lost all credibility for me. All the money collected for the school academy. See, I'm not one of these people who look for perfect people, because you're not perfect who just said that, right? So yes, I don't agree with Dr. Umar taking money and saying he's going to build a school for the last 15 or how many years he's been doing it, yeah? But that doesn't mean that everything he says I must dismiss. That's bullshit. Unlearn that. Yeah, I don't like him, but there's enough stuff that he says that is correct. Just like there's enough stuff that he says that's bullshit. Do you understand? But to say, yo, I totally dismiss him because he took money for a school and never built the school, so that means anything he says is bullshit, that's your bullshit. If you haven't noticed already, I'm not nice. I'm not here to flatter people. If I need to tell someone to fuck off, I'm going to tell them. Right? And then say amen after. That's who I am. Right? That's who I need to be. Yeah, I got books about UK, Scotland and Ireland foundational black people. If you look through my book list, you'll find 3 books that go very deep into that. So I'm not even going to go down that route. Once computers were created, that's when it began. Okay. AI have been around for years. YTs are AI. I'm not going to disagree with level 5. Stop cracking me up, man. Because I said something similar in my banned books, yeah. Maybe that's why they banned it. I said, them man are a virus. They are the virus. That's what I said. And I broke it down. I didn't just say that. I broke down, gave you the receipts as to, yo, them man are a virus, you know. This earth, yeah. Before the virus, they never had none of them people. Then all of a sudden, the earth got sick. And now that's why you're seeing these. Let me leave it there before Skynet comes for man, yeah. I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. Accepting the AI robots is one step closer to accepting the Neuralink, yep, and everything that goes with it. Raw, you man are engaging this time. How come I'm still scrolling now? I don't have to make an excuse and dip. Yeah, you see what it is? Right now, you just have to don't take anything personally from people, innit? Because you got to understand people are at war with themselves. So they will project it outwards to you. So more time you just leave them, yeah? Make it just, you're bulletproof. Like, just leave them. Like, a lot of these people in the comments, they want me to engage them, innit? Yeah, I want him to, I'm going to say something to, they don't get a reaction from me. You understand? Just block them and scroll past them and that. Rahubat Zamal, that's Kemet Flower. Oh, you from Amsterdam, yeah? I ain't been Amsterdam since 2004. Yeah? I need to go to Amsterdam, man. Now I've said that. Everyone was riding bikes in Amsterdam. Like the girls, the guys, everyone's on bikes and shit. It was beautiful. It was like, yo. I went to Rotterdam though. And I went to Rotterdam in the last 2 days I was there. And I said, yo, I should have came Rotterdam first. Allow Amsterdam, no disrespect. Yeah. Yeah, Coco Mietri, Americans need to get over themselves. I think the world has America fatigue now. I don't even, like, whether it's black America, white America, Chinese, we've just got America fatigue. We've heard enough, yeah? Nobody serious, no serious scholar outside of America takes anything they say seriously. If there is, find me him. Find me a scholar that says, look, refer to this person in America or his work. No. If we do, it's like I said, the old guard, like Henrik Clark, Astral Kwesi, Mira Kwesi, yeah? Drusilla Dundee Houston, brothers and sisters who are actually the shit. Not this stuff today, this psyop stuff, these content creators today that ain't got no work to stand on. Come on, feet. Yo, shout out to Anika and shout out to, let me say this right, Aniyani. Natalie, Annie. Chicken and chips, says CK. Hey, I like chicken and chips. This guy, Hani Shigo, says, I'm big, Mansha, Allahu, all come, Allah. I don't know what that means, bro. Are you trying to say mashallah is what Allah wanted? I don't know what you're saying, bro. FB, we are running ish, but I fuck with the man them. You see what I mean? These people, the Americans are cooked, you know. Yo, shout out Derek Carwin, yeah? Jaherbert, aka Tony, so you're my neighbor. What do you mean? In Leicester, I'm your neighbor. Shout out to Nisha, UK, yeah? Very rough, especially for me. I hope it gets better for you, man. Listen, you're not alone. It's rough for me too this month. This month has been a nightmare for me, yeah? That's why my lives have been so few and far between, yeah? I'm just thinking about, I got destination addiction for this month. I'm like, yo, I can't wait to get to the next. You get me? I got my car bumper to change. I need to change the brakes on my car. I need to do this, that, this. I need to order books and books to people. It's just left me till the end of the month. I'm stuck. You understand? But it's all good. You know, you find the gratitude. If you trust in the Supreme always going to provide for you. You're never going to be without. You understand? I'm just talking about the comfort. Like, it's very uncomfortable for me getting to the next thing. I didn't anticipate that me overspending, when I come back to England, I'd be in a situation where now I have to fork out £1,700 sterling to fix my dog. My dog's fixed now, and I'll do it again. I have no regrets about it, but I'm just saying it's tough for everyone. Everybody's got some type of battle or something in the background. That's why it's best to not take things personal from people, because people are going to lash out at you. People are going to project on you. They're going to, you understand what I'm saying? Just allow them. The AI summary, yeah, says, debating the authenticity of figures like Umara Johnson. It's saying Umar Johnson, yeah? Skynet's reporting back to base. Yo, they're talking about Umar Johnson and shit, man. It's talking about FBAs. There's FBAs in the comments that are getting pissed off, yeah? Is it safe to return to the UK in 2026 as a black person? If you're already outside of the UK, why do you want to come back here? Nigga, stay where you are. I'll just say that. I'm trying to get out of here. You understand? I got a plan to be out of here. And you're asking me, is it safe to come back to the UK? You're already outside. Huh? The UK is not a place for black people. Right? I'm telling you, it's anti-black. And it does it in a... See how America's blatant with it? They blatantly racist. UK is institutionally racist. Like, they mask it. They actually go on like, oh, everybody's the same and we all love each other. And behind their back, they're like, you get me? Bro, you don't want no parts of the UK. If you're born here, you know how to deal with it, right? But if you can have an escape and go somewhere else and make a living and support yourself somewhere else, this is not the place to be. Me going to Antigua recently made me see how much I don't want to be in the UK. It reinforced it. It's like, but even before I've left Antigua, I'm like, yo, what am I doing in the UK? Renting, right? Everybody in Antigua, all my friends, they build their houses. They build their fucking house the way they want it. They own it. You understand? They don't have X and Y and Z bills coming out of them. They just buy a bottle with all the gas they need in it, hook it up, that shit lasts a month. Yeah? Pay for the water, that's it. All this tax, that tax, this tax, this tax, this tax, parking ticket, this fucking child benefit. They don't have none of that. Do you understand? made me think, yo, what are we doing here in like UK and US and stuff? Why are we here? There's nothing for us here. There's nothing for you but debt and racism. You understand? And yo, so if you're already out of the UK, you should be thinking, how can I stay out of the UK? How can I like still maintain the kind of livelihood I want, but be in a place that's more supportive, more conducive to what I'm doing and who I am? That's what I'm looking at, because the UK is going to become more and more, what word can I use? Aggressive to us. It's not going to be a friendly place to live. It's already one of the most miserable places to live in the world. More time people live to work and work to live. That's it. They just go to work. And they don't even like their jobs. Most people don't like their jobs in the UK, right? And another interesting fact too, America, yeah, America has the lowest lifespan in the known world, but they spend the most money on health. Do you understand that? They have the lowest lifespan in the whole Western developed world, America. Yeah, maybe that's why so many of you come and chat this FBA shit, because all them chemicals in y'all niggas' food. FBA is their way of saying foundational blacks. We're not African, we're indigenous American, we're foundational black American. That's what they say, yeah? Which is a half truth. Of course, you've got indigenous Americans. We are the indigenous Americans, meaning melanated people was there before who they call in Native Americans today. Whether you want to call them Kushites, Indians, whatever name, Moors you want to put on it, yeah? People with melanin in their skin is the original people of America. Right? Just like when I was talking about the seeding of the planet and how all the continents were combined in one. Today we refer to that supercontinent as Pangaea, and later it broke apart. But when the earth was seeded, we were seeded on Pangaea, meaning on earth, all of it. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So we was already on every continent before the thing broke apart. Yeah? But no matter what you say, the FBA they don't seem to get that. They just want America. They can have it. You know what I'm saying? And because of what happened in America in the civil rights black power movement, after J. Edgar Hoover said there'll never be another black messiah, you have to understand they clamped down on black Americans. They regressed them. They put them into what they are today, right? That's COINTELPRO. Or as Jason Augustus says, pretend Indians, yeah? Anyway, I'm going, yeah? I'll be back later when the sun sets, around the time the sun sets in UK time, right? Whatever time that is, I don't even know what time that is right now. But I'll be back later around sunset evening time. I'll finish off what we've done with these guys. And like I said, I'll open up the chat so you can have your own little box and you can interject and you can have your say in it, because my kitten's running inside. He's trying to tell me he's hungry. He ain't ate since 9 a.m. Yo, salute. We love you all. Shout out to everybody who made this live what it was today. Shout out to everyone who contributed and benefited. Yeah, we love you all. The only reason I'm doing it is for you, because I know you're going to benefit from this shit here. You understand what I'm saying? Mafia life, Mafia for life. Join me later. Sunset time, yeah? Peace. If it's the first time that you've come to my page, salute to you. If you haven't followed, follow this shit. You ain't finding this nowhere else on TikTok.